so the topic that I want to address today is worldviews. Worldviews. And I don't want anybody to miss. I get that some people are coming in only tomorrow. That's going to be, a lot of, few more people are coming tomorrow, but I really would not like them to miss. But, okay, I think what I'm going to do, Uje post na that's delat, Uje post na delat eta spisok da? Ome anzes yes, no, shobe ani videl in the pollution, so that? Da, da wa ite pa probo, ite pa shlite sebe na ite same. So I think what I should do today with you is to give you an overview of everything we are going to be doing this week. So I think what I will do is to, I'm thinking of my Russian person that is there who doesn't speak English, but thank God Olia came, so you translate for her. So I'm thinking of doing an overview for you, at least for you to have an understanding of what we are going to be doing. So the art of questioning, that is important because I'm going to show you a video today, maybe tomorrow as well, that is going to be talking about some of the biggest challenges we have in Africa. And these challenges are connected to the fact that we have not been taught to use our mind. We've not been taught to use our mind. Europe is doing a better job in our area. They are doing a good job. But we are not doing too well in using our mind. And if one of the evidences of that is that we have a lot of superstitions. And superstition is a proof that people don't think. When you begin to use your logics, superstitions disappear. So that's one proof. Another proof of the fact that we don't use our mind is the fact that we run after miracles. And you cannot deny that Nigeria and Africa in general runs after miracles. And once we are running after miracles, that's another proof that, we're in trouble. So when Europe used to do the same thing now. Do you know that Europe in the 14th, in the 12th, that's what they call dark ages, right? In the mid-centuries, they used to believe in a lot of superstitions and in a lot of miracles. And when they did that, there was no progress. There was no development. No, they didn't grow. They were just like Africa. They were backward. They were having a lot of poverty and a lot of backwardness just because they were depending on superstitions and on miracles. So the only reason why they were able to break through and break out of that poverty and backwardness was because they experienced what they call a renaissance, and that's awakening. So that renaissance is a time that they were able to question everything. Renaissance is actually basically about questioning everything. So for us to, as a continent, to actually be able to walk away from our backwardness and walk into civilization, the key will be the same thing. It has to come through questioning, and I'm so happy that success is here, because I think he's going to speak this week. And one of the things that I like about his blog, what he does, and his articles, is that he questions everything. It questions everything, every dormant idea. That is the key. So some people are saying, oh, but you are going too far, you are doing this, you are doing that. It doesn't matter. Just the ability to question is the beginning of Renaissance. So, but unfortunately, the culture that we are having right now in Africa is not yet the culture of questioning everything. We are not yet in that culture of questioning everything. As a matter of fact, the culture that is exalted in Africa right now is a culture of never question anything, especially when it comes to authority, when it comes to the elders. You don't question anything. So, baka will be right. So, so the question of not questioning anything is actually a backward culture. It's a culture of backwardness. And that is one thing that will keep any culture, any nation, any continent backward instead of releasing us to progress. So we will never experience development, and we will never experience growth and civilization as long as we don't embrace the question of question. So I cannot tell you enough how important this topic is going I cannot tell you enough how important this whole series will be. This is going to be, for the destiny of Africa, this is going to be probably one of the most important discussions that African continent will ever have. And thank God we have grown to live in such a day when a church leader, a Christian leader, could come on air, gather only Africans, and talk about questioning. That's a taboo. Even universities don't do it. Even our universities are not doing that. Talk less of our churches. Mario, maybe not you, but I would rather propose the opposite. I would rather propose for the Russian people who need translation to be down there at the back, and you people to come up here. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a major, major breakthrough that we are experiencing, and that we are able to talk about the art of questioning. And this is not just in Africa now that this is a challenge and this is going to be a novice, but even in America or in Europe, in England, the only reason why Europe or England or America is still surviving is because the whole society is already built on that. So, but most people don't know this. 90% of people in England and America, they don't know what we are going to talk about here, even though they are white or they're Europeans. 90% of the world population doesn't even have an idea of this, what this is about. Short of a proper Alisekran, a show was done processional. Never lighted Uraka de Ushki. So we are supposed to, we are supposed to actually thank God that God has chosen us and has given us the privilege to be able to discuss this. Like this kind of topic, go to any university or, in college, in the best universities in the world. People will still not be able to know what we're talking about. It doesn't matter where. But the only advantage that the Western countries have is that questioning and critical thinking is already part of their curriculum. Long time, from kindergarten. They put it everywhere. They put it from kindergarten to primary, to secondary, to university. Everything is based on questioning. Now, let me tell you something else that will be interesting to you. And you will find this interesting. Because can you believe it that there is no education where there is no questioning? So it doesn't matter the population of people you have in Africa that have gone to school or that are graduates. Even if the whole country is graduates, it's full of graduates. If questioning is not imbibed in the educational system, nobody is educated. That is how, just for you to know how serious this topic is. Our whole continent are illiterate. Our whole nation is uneducated just for one reason: if we are not taught the act of questioning. Questioning is at the bottom and the foundation of education. The reason why you go to school, to be educated, to go to university, is to be able to question hypothesis. Is to be able to come up with to be able to question reality and to be able to come up with a solution thanks to those questioning. Is to be able to question the status quo. But we belong to such a continent where questioning status quo is not welcome. It's not a celebrated or a welcomed phenomenon. So, which is a backward phenomenon, is a phenomenon of darkness. So what I'm going to do right now, and maybe this will be good for today, is that I'm going to let you see the topic, okay, today is going to be the topic for today. I mean, that the first where we're going to start with, but I'm just going to tell you all the topics I'm going to be talking about this week. I hope I'll be able to talk about all of them. Let's see the list of the topics. All right, can you read from here? Okay. So the first part is going to be understanding worldviews, part 1, understanding worldviews, part 2, and I hope I'll be able to write books on these things later on. Then, so you see that this is not very religious, is it? And it's not going to be religious. So it's not religion, it's about what we can do, what we need to know to bring civilization and development to our continent. So, you can take the photo. You can say, you can widen your, yeah. So understanding worldviews, that's part 1, part 2. Then number 3, I'm going to talk about intellectual curiosity. Yeah, that's another key thing that is not taught in our institutions, in our tertiary institutions. But without intellectual curiosity, there is no research, and there are no discoveries, and there are no what they call it, inventions, no innovations, without intellectual curiosity. So that's one of the things we're going to be talking about as well. You see, intellectual curiosity, a key to African development. Then number 4, the art of asking questions. That's the centrality of what this HMT is going to be about. Then the next one is wisdom through questioning. Wisdom through questioning. And then we have in verse 7, in subject 7, questioning through. That's another problem there. Through. Yeah. You can see that, huh? We have our own law of writing these things here. Questioning through the scientific methods. Yeah, that's one thing that, you'll be surprised that even science students in my country don't know what scientific method is. If you tell somebody who read engineering in Nigerian university and stand up and tell me what are the 6 points of scientific methods. Did you read science? No. Everybody is escaping very fast. Even those ones who finish PhD in science, they say, no, I did it though. Everybody wants to escape. You did engineering. Okay. But that's the problem of our education. How can you do science and not know scientific methods? And you are talking of development. So that's why this is so needed, this HMT. I mean, it's like I should write the curriculum for our Nigerian university. That's what I feel like sometimes. I feel like I should be the one to write the curriculum or to write the curricula for stationary. What do you call it? What is it? Stationary? What do you call them? No, like higher education. What they call them? Something. Yeah, but you call them one word. What was the word I'm looking for? Stationary institutes? Tertiary institutions, yes. So I feel like writing their curricula for them. Because these things are needed. And these things have been discovered like 400 years ago, 300 years ago, 200 years ago. And they brought education to us just textbooks without the reason for the textbooks or where the textbooks are taken from. But these things are the things that give you the textbooks, the basics for education itself and for science itself and for development and progress. So hopefully we are going to be able to get to that and talk about scientific methods. How to apply scientific methods. Because how did I know that our society needs this? When I see the way Nigerians respond to what happened and what's going on, you just know that, Nobody is educated here. Even the politicians, even the so-called elite, the way we respond to reality will show you that people are not informed. They don't know the laws or what it takes. So the next thing we're going to be talking about, apart from scientific methods and the questioning through scientific methods, but number 8, developing critical thinking. That's another major thing that we need to introduce in our schools. From primary, maybe, is that the beginning of school in Africa? From maybe nursery to primary to secondary to university, we need to introduce critical thinking everywhere. So, but now I have to be talking to 50 years olds about critical thinking. Next one, thinking like a genius can help resolve Africans' problems. Because before, I used to think that there were geniuses were born. There was a time I used to think like that when I was in Africa, that some people are born to be geniuses, or to be geniuses, but I was one. I thought I was not one of them. But it was later on I discovered that no, geniuses are not born. But now I even have a book on how to become a genius. How to discover the genius in you. Yeah. But that is not in English yet. It will come to English soon. But then thinking like a genius is another topic that I will be doing this week. I've never thought about that. I've never thought on that, but I'm going to teach on that this week, I hope. Then the next point is developing your analytical thinking skills. So you have critical thinking, then you have analytical thinking. Then 11, we are going to also be talking about teaching Africa common sense. They say common sense is not common.
Common sense is not common.
Yeah. So we want to try to bring it back to make it common. We want it to be common now. Then after that, I hope we'll be able to get to the last one, which is divergent thinking. I don't know if you see that there. Is that number 12? Yeah, divergent thinking. Have you anybody has ever heard of divergent thinking or studied divergent thinking? No? Yes, sir. You need that microphone now. I hope you'll not be intimidated by that little microphone in your hand. You just need to bring it down this way. Yeah.
To my understanding, well, it's very important to be open-minded, to be able to...
Yeah, just open up and tell us your opinion.
Diverse talks.
Yeah.
In the sense of being...
You know that menyata makazi what? Yaji. Okay.
I think we need to, because the analytical thinking, number one, it's based on an open mind. Then, because there various issues that has to be dealt with, and it comes with diverse of thoughts.
Yeah.
So.
No, you have now removed it totally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So with those thoughts.
Включен. Это видишь, не сам включить.
So with those diverse thoughts, it's very, very important. Me personally, I appreciate people with a very open mind.
Okay.
So, because if you have an open mind, you'll be able to look critical, thoroughly into issues, and come with a...
You know, when you are coming here, they told you, don't go to that place because that guy is an antichrist.
Yeah.
Or he's a demon.
Yeah.
He's a devil. He's the devil
Yeah.
himself. Because of lack of open-mindedness that you are talking about.
Yeah.
People don't have open-mindedness to the extent of listening to an opposing view.
It's an opposite view.
Yeah.
They're just like that.
Yeah.
Narrow-minded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Let's keep on going to the topic. Конечно, я здесь читаю это. Список. So divergent thinking, we are going to discuss that later on. But then, after divergent thinking, you remember I spoke about intellectual curiosity? There's going to be a similar topic as well, but it's not going to be intellectual, it's curiosity this time. It's going to be intellectual integrity. That is what I hope to be the last one. But, yeah, what do you people think? I want all of you students to look in there and tell me what you think about the topics and what topic are you looking forward to out of the bunch?
The last two.
Oh, last one, eh?
Intellectual integrity.
You've got to tell me why. Why do you think that one? Why does that one intrigue you?
Because that refers to leaders.
Yeah, if you see the way my one is looking, but you don't look it, just like that.
Like that. That refers to leaders' intellectual integrity, because lack of intellectual integrity would rub on your followers. Intellectual integrity goes a long way in the sense of being considerate about other people, because when we look into integrity, well, we were taught in Bible school when I was in Worldviews about.
Oh, you are from that family, eh? Somebody is related to you here. In that sense. You didn't go through Worldviews, eh? You did? Wow.
Yeah, I did all the whole stage.
You people have been brainwashed.
But what they taught us about integrity is, if you, as a leader, if you're anointed and you don't have integrity, your anointing stinks, because integrity goes before your anointing. Because before your anointing is your normal character. Because if I'm going to deal with this sister now, I'm not going to deal with her from anointing. I'm going to deal with her from myself, my character. You know, and that I can connect my character with my integrity, and the more I clean,
you people are going to be whitewashed here, because what you are talking about is totally off. You can say it's good. What do you think? How are you able to pick that up? No. How did you even know it was off?
Because I don't know what's intellectual integrity. I want
but
to
he's
learn.
describing integrity,
Yes.
but not intellectual integrity.
Yes.
Two things. But that's what you are taught in the school, in the Bible school, and that's the normal general knowledge about integrity, what people think. But that's religion. That's why I'm talking about being whitewashed, because we are going to first of all clean you up.
Another garment. Detoxify.
We have to detox, yes. We have to detoxify you from all the things they have taught you in those schools. It's good. That's a good thing. But we want to go higher, much higher, in a way that with things that is not just religious, but that will be able to build a nation. Okay, so what topic it will intrigue you out of the 13 topics?
Okay, how to ask questions and the art of...
No, you've got to justify. You could be more, but you've got to justify all the ones you mentioned.
Okay, the art
of... So your own is intellectual curiosity, integrity. It is the integrity one. Very good. Pray that we'll get there. Because according to that list, it's supposed to be the last one. So I pray that time will permit us to be able to get there. If not, we'll be coming back at night to do extra class.
As long as we get through.
Yeah. But the way it is right now, we have planned it to be finishing on by 9 o'clock so that our audience will go and watch soccer, football. Yeah, but if maybe after football we have to be coming back to finish the topics.
Because sir, integrity is really lacking.
Give him the microphone. He's talking. When he's talking, he has to talk into the microphone.
Integrity is really lacking in the church.
Yeah.
And I've seen it with because I'm very close with these so-called pastors, and there's a lot of the reason why they manipulate people, to my understanding, is lack of integrity. That's how I see it. Because if you're telling your members that you need to raise money to buy a building, and you're telling your members that even if it's going to cost them their house rent, to me, that's brainwashing and that's lack of integrity. Because if God is if God has entrusted something in your hand, He will make provision. I don't believe you need to manipulate people, but all this manipulation, brainwashing, to my understanding, is lack of integrity. All these are so-called leaders in the secular world that are embezzling money, oppressing people. We can link it with lack of integrity.
Yeah.
So, and even when people are even greed, when you're greedy, I can still link it with integrity, because
or lack of integrity.
Yeah, you don't really have a stand, because people that don't really have a stand, they
lack integrity.
They lack integrity.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's why you are able to come despite the fact that everybody was against.
Yeah.
It's a form of integrity too.
Oh, I didn't even see it that way. I didn't see it that way.
Yep.
I didn't
okay,
see that.
Shioma.
Okay, I would want to know more on how to ask questions.
Okay. Is that the way it is called?
Yes, that was how it was written.
How to ask questions?
Yeah, how to no, there are two. The 4 was the art of asking questions. Yes, and the
I
other
thought that
one,
was the one you've referred to before.
I was going to group 2 of them together because
That's why they are not together.
yes.
And since they are not together, I thought that means they are different.
Okay.
That's what I thought. Maybe am I?
So because if you
So
don't
which
know,
one are you?
let me
talking
focus
about?
on how to ask questions.
How to ask questions?
Yes, because you don't get answers if you don't know the how. You know, you may see a problem you want to address, but if you don't know the right questions to bring forth in trying to resolve that problem, you may not be able to address that issue.
How to ask questions? Why are you personally interested in how to ask questions?
I just gave the answer.
No,
I
I didn't
just
see you in
explained.
your. I didn't see you in your explanation.
Okay, I didn't use me
Yeah, I
as
didn't
the
see
person.
why you. Interested, huh?
Okay. Yes, it's still, well, okay, let me put myself. There
Yeah, I
are,
wanted it to be like that because the way you answered the first time, it looked like the classroom answer to me.
okay,
And I don't appreciate that too much.
okay,
I know that might help you to become an A student in Nigerian school. But maybe here it might make you to become a D student, or maybe F student. So you've got to find a way of putting yourself inside that thing. I need you to find your way inside that place.
okay. I'll put it this way. As a child growing up, I was a very inquisitive person, but
Yeah, I think you are right. That is not encouraged, eh?
yes, it was not. I was always having issues with older people, you know, because I would always want to know why. So maybe it is the why that is the problem, and not exactly. Maybe I'm not presenting it the way it should be. Okay, so for me, this topic is very important, you know, so that I would be able to know how. I mean, the how of question asking.
Yeah.
Possibly, I'll be able to get the right answers to issues around me.
Okay. A možná vzdělat вот это список na palavino, inas na palavino, elena ik na palavino. No, it's a paproboit. Beautiful, beautiful. Now you made it personal, and you brought it home. But I sense that making it personal also makes you a little bit more emotional. You are no more detached the way you are. And that also helps, because when you are detached like that, it's more like your head work. But because you make it more personal, it becomes your heart involvement. And still, it's better to always be heart connected. Nizabute begushe straka ili shtota no tak nizia stavit. Yes, please go ahead. Okay. I mean, you had another one.
Okay.
Yeah. Let her talk about the second one.
Okay.
Now she's becoming real. Now she's real.
Okay, on the art of asking questions, why I was looking at two of them, even though they are separate topics. I want to believe that from this topic, I'm going to be learning the art. That question asking is an art, and I want to know that I want to learn more on the art. I want to discover, how to be able to bring out the right questions so that I can arrive at the right answers.
Beautiful. How do you understand an art? Art of asking questions, for example.
First of all, I'm not an art student. I don't have art background. Well,
yeah. What do you think that to be?
System.
Beautiful. You could say, if you are not an art student and you don't like art, you could say the science of
asking questions.
It's the same thing as the art of asking questions. Yes. So we could rename it. You could call it the science. So how will you then explain it that way? Because you have really given a good answer. Why? You know that it's an art or it's a science. And you want to go into the nitty-gritty. That's what I thought.
Yes. Okay. My understanding from this topic is that I would be able to find out how to break down my questions into smaller details.
Beautiful.
So that I will be able to get to the root cause of an issue.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You see, I'm already challenging you here. I hope I'll not become your enemy. No,
no, not at all. No.
But I know I'm making you uncomfortable.
No, don't mind my body language. I'm fine.
Okay. I'm going to make you uncomfortable. That's for real. But in such a way that you could thank me later on.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's
so
why
I'm going to stress you, and not just you. I'm going to stress everybody. That's why I'm a teacher. Okay, so we'll go to Rosalind.
Yeah.
You have the list?
Yeah, I'm looking at the list. That's what I want to choose. For me, I'm looking forward to point number 6, and that is wisdom through questioning. And why I'm personally interested in this topic is because at least everybody had something you would say, had I knew, I would have done it the other way around. Yeah, so in my personal life, there are so many things that I will say, had I knew, I would have done it like this, I would have done it the other way around. So wisdom through questioning give you the opportunity that when you are faced with something, to avoid that had I known, you question yourself before taking answer or making a solution. And if you don't do that, we always end up having regret about the decisions we take. And that is because you didn't question the situation you are faced to be able to take the right answer.
Beautiful.
And if you question it, you have the wisdom to take the right decision for me. So that's the reason why I'm interested in number 6. Yeah, thank you.
See the way she's answering. She's not answering like someone who is living in Africa, you see. She's answering the way we expect someone to answer. She's answering comprehensively. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's like, did you school in Europe anywhere?
No, I only came here as another one.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. You don't like any topic, Julie? Let's welcome Julie back to Ukraine, by the way. So when you stand, Julie, let's see your face. I think you need to come here for her to see you in capital letter.
I'm okay.
You are okay?
I'll stand.
Can you see her?
No,
If she stands,
she should be here.
you see her?
Okay.
Okay. She's recognizable? Okay.
They say you should be here.
I should
No,
come here?
no, they said in the camera.
Oh, I should
Yeah,
be
they
there.
say you are
Okay.
fine. They say you are fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fine.
Okay.
Or if she stands here, she's even better here if she stand here. Stand beside Rosalind. Right. Good.
More?
Yeah, just beside Rosalind.
Okay.
Yeah, that is Julie. Welcome her back to Ukraine. We had welcomed Mayowa back, but we have not had the opportunity to welcome you back because she just came back yesterday. Is it yesterday you came or today? Today.
This morning, yeah.
Oh, wow. Welcome back.
Thank
So
you.
we welcome Julie back. Julie, did you see the list?
Yes, I saw
I think
it.
there were 13.
Yeah.
You have the list. You want us to show it again?
Yeah, if you can show it again.
Can you show the list again, please?
Great.
Yeah, show the list. Spisa pakajite nam tuna. Nene, nada jitam pakazi wa dimji nada pasmotret. Zes nitoni smaje prochitata suda. Slishko melka. Vegitulka shu zes pakazi wa litulka shtu. Dan zashem meste. Spisa katebe pakajite. Okay, this is it.
Okay.
Można i 13 tam abreza na werk. Okay, we have it. Understanding worldviews, part 1, part 2, intellectual curiosity, the art of asking questions, how to ask questions, wisdom through questioning, questioning through the scientific methods, developing critical thinking, thinking like a genius, developing your analytical thinking skills, teaching Africa common sense, divergent thinking, intellectual integrity.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think I have two favorites. Number one is the art of asking questions, or actually how to ask questions. To me, they're similar.
Number
4
5.
and 5, yes.
4 and 5.
4 and 5. And then number 12 also is very interesting to me because I generally...
Okay, can you take one by one and tell us why
Okay.
you chose one over the other?
Yes, so number 4 and number 5.
No, you have to go one by one.
One by one, okay. The art of asking questions to me is unfamiliar. I haven't really looked into this topic, but I believe that asking questions is an art because not many people do it. And even in everyday life, people usually walk around being people that make assumptions rather than asking questions. I've experienced that with people all the
Wow,
time because
beautiful.
people often think that they know and they don't really know because they don't ask questions. Everybody just thinks they know what they know and they think that what they know is enough.
You see, I just said it's not just a typically African problem. That even though the European culture has put questioning or doubting in every area of life, but still as an art and as knowledge, that 90% of people either in Europe or America, they still don't know it.
Yeah.
So we are just privileged that we are here to be able to, study these things.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I'm not used to people asking me questions. I study coaching, and for me, that's why it's something that's
Especially in
more familiar.
the art of asking questions, especially you are from Germany.
Yes.
Especially in Germany. In Germany, they have what they call, I don't know what they call in their German language, but it's something similar like to respect people's views. Yeah, views, not to step into people's boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, you believe like that, that's you. That's
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I respect you. That's what they would say. They try to be nice.
Yeah.
I respect you. That's your own opinion. Yeah, yeah, but I don't. I want to have my opinion. I have my. Okay, you are free to have your opinion. You can think the way you want, but and that kills. That is like in America they call it political correctness. So that political correctness kills. It actually kills creativity. It kills the art of questioning itself, and it also destroys the interrelational advantages of relationship that's supposed to be coming through freedom of asking questions. So this is something that is really big, this topic that we're going to be discussing this week. So thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so in terms of more fundamental things and values of life and how systems are built and why things are the way they are, in Germany especially, you don't really, there are certain things that are just there and they exist and people accept them the way
People
they are.
don't even know how they come about.
Yeah, people don't really know the way they come about. But then there are other topics like politics or more current affairs that people ask questions about. So there's this type of balance in Germany that I find. But I think that it's still not enough when it comes to knowing people and then also understanding life in general, learning and developing yourself. I think that having gone through coaching, training, and also somehow the art of questioning, because obviously you have to ask people questions if you coach them. I understood that it's so uncommon for people to ask questions, but also to respond to questions because they're fairly used to closed-ended questions like yes or no, or giving just very short answers. So what we're doing here, for example, it is a good art of questioning us and understanding, what is it that
So there
you
is
like
value
or-
in this.
Yeah,
Unlike in churches, most churches, you just listen to the pastor and go home.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, you just have to be quiet and go home
yeah,
and give your tithe and offering.
yeah. Yeah, so I like that art of questioning, understanding that this is something you have to learn. It doesn't come just because you're born. Obviously, actually, as a child, you do question a lot of things.
Yeah,
You
God
question all
put
the
that
time.
in us.
Yeah.
But the society and the elders, they make you
Yeah,
shut up.
They make you shut
Or
up, yeah.
they teach you how to. Yeah.
To keep quiet, yes. So I think it's very important that we revive that, especially because it comes so naturally to us normally. Then the other thing was how to ask questions. I think this is also important because, like I said, most people ask closed-ended questions that other people can respond to with yes or no, and then it basically just ends the conversation. And I think it deprives us of really important information that we can get from each other, and also just have good conversations with each other, and trying to get to know what other people think and why they think what they think. So the way to ask questions in order to have a good enriching
Supply of
conversation,
answer.
yes, is important, and I think definitely not common in most
So you
places.
see the difference. You see the way, Shioma, you see the way she brought out the two differences. The first one is the art of asking questions, which is the science part, which you said. But now, how do I do it? Is a little bit different. So it's not totally the same.
Yeah, so
Good. Then why are you interested in the last topic?
the before last one, I think. Divergent
Okay,
thinking,
yeah.
yes. So this one, I'm really interested in it because it reminds me a lot of brainstorming. And I like brainstorming because it involves, most of the time, it involves a team of people because you can't think about everything, of course. And if you want to find a solution to a problem or an answer to a question, you have different opinions, you have different worldviews or views in general on a different topic because we all know different things about a topic. So if we somehow unite the knowledge, the suggestions, the ideas that everyone has, the solution that we can come up with is much more yeah, it's just much more enriching and it's more powerful than if one person just sits by themselves and try to think of an answer. And then it's also diverse and gives you many options, and you can be much more creative and, you know, flexible in finding answers and solutions. So that's why I like divergent thinking, because it's important, and it also teaches you to consider other people's opinions and not just go by what you think is correct, even if it is correct. So, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, excellent. Okay, who is next? Dr. Success. I'm afraid. I mean, what do you say? I'm positive that you, in particular, might be very elated about the topic of this HMT.
Yes, very, very, very interesting for me.
Because you have, in your own way, you have tried to be a one-man squad, a one-man army.
Yes.
By trying to single-handedly forge the way. But because people might not be there yet, they will now misunderstand you and probably think that it is you who is losing his mind.
Yes, yes.
Or who is backsliding.
Yes.
But this will now do justice and justification to your position.
Absolutely.
Because this is going to be thoroughly debated and studied and also explicitly, you know, deliberated on all the topics. So what is your feeling about seeing all these topics?
Yeah, I really must first appreciate the source of my thinking, of my thought process, because when I was to start my long journey to freedom, one of the things that DSA first taught me is asking questions. The fact that something has been said, it was for the first time, DSA was the first authority figure in my life who, for the first time, will say something and we say, ask questions, debate.
Question me, yeah, debate.
Question
Don't just believe what I
Don't
say.
just agree. Yeah. Because like Mrs. D and I were saying yesterday, the kind of family structure that we came from in Africa, you don't even dare ask questions. Yeah. You don't, your confidence is just so beaten down that to ask questions is a taboo, is a sin, you know. So when I began my long walk to freedom, the very first inconvenient thing I had to begin to do was to begin to ask questions. I began to ask questions.
The first inconvenient thing.
The first inconvenient thing I had to do was to begin to question everything. If you had told me about this, then where are the facts? What is the basis? Where is the foundation for this statement? So you can't just make general statement and say, God said, or Jesus said, or I need basis. I need to
that is too revolutionary for African mind to think, and for Christians especially. Yeah. Question everything. They will now say, so if a man comes to say God said, so it's not enough for you, you are backsliding, or you are antichrist. You mean man of God is saying something, you say it's not enough, so what is now enough? So it means you are gone.
Yes. So that totally broke down the wall of superstitious beliefs and myths, and you know, there are no because there has to be a reason for when that first attempt I came for. Whenever you say something, they will say go back again. And sometimes you have just made a statement, and when you say go back again, you can't even remember
what you said.
What you just said, what you just repeated. So that was totally, you know, it brought to the fact that a lot of us were not actually thinking, we were not present, we were not. So that broke down the wall of superstitions, the wall of myth. I began to ask a lot of questions, difficult questions that were even very inconvenient for me as a person. But then I didn't mind the fact that this is going to put me in the bad lights with a lot of people and all that. So I wanted to question everything. Now I'm at this stage in my life where if whatsoever thing is not making sense, there's no sense in it. Yeah. So there has to be the sense, and you have to be able to prove.
So it's not enough that an elder has spoken.
An elder has spoken, because you are 90 years old.
Or pastor has spoken.
Or because it's been done for 2,000 years. It's not enough to convince me that this is the truth. So there has to be the basis. So such things was, I really think it was the first major thing that occurred in my life, to be honest. Asking questions, beginning to question culture, question religion, question beliefs, and
understanding practices.
It's not been convenient, to be very, very honest, because this puts you. I lost friends. Virtually all my friends saw me as So people began to, people will not want to associate with you when you are like that and all that. But then it has brought me into a new phase of life entirely. So one of the topics that I'll be looking forward to is that art of question, because it's totally a rebirth. It's going to, it's just like being born anew, to be honest. And another one that I will also look forward to is
Speech of that.
teaching Africa common sense. That's that's topic 11. 11. Yes, teaching Africa common sense, because there are a lot of things that when we begin to think aright, when we begin to see things the way they ought to be, we can't actually believe that there are a lot of people that are still not understanding these basic elements. So now when you're trying to explain to people that think about these things again, they don't want to accept it. They are totally, it's like people have grown thick skin against order, against truth, against the right things. So it is like you are coming from heaven. Common sense, just very basic things. Like, for example, even the art of questioning. Now, you will say, okay, begin to question elders, begin to question ancient belief. People are going to still, and this looks like common sense to everybody here, that you should ask questions. When somebody makes a 1 hour sermon, there should be no sermon without people coming forward to ask questions. But when we say that to Africans, they'll be like, what are we saying? You are teaching rebellion, or you're so
That's what they say about me. They say you are teaching and encouraging
rebellion.
Because you are encouraging
People to ask questions. So basically, this has become a devil to them because it's teaching people to think. And in Africa, thinking is not permitted. Nobody wants you to think. The family does not want you to think. The society, the church, they just want you to be dummy. So I will really look forward to that topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Teaching Africa common sense. It's going to be a very interesting topic. And finally, the last one, of course, I will want to be interested in is divergent thinking. Because thinking outside of the box is one core area of my life. I'm not always interested in things that are usual. It's not convergent, divergent. It has to be outside the box. It has to be something that is interesting. It has to be questions that nobody has asked before. Because these are things that better geniuses, that many of the phenomenal people we were talking about in life today.
Only because
they thought out of the box. They asked questions that nobody had dared to ask. So it's even authorities like Newton, like some of these great thinkers, Albert Einstein.
It is because Albert Einstein
questioned Newton.
That's why it became relevant.
Yes.
That's why who did the
discovery. And Steve Hawkins is relevant because he was bold enough to even question Albert Einstein.
Yes.
So in the world, and Steve Hawkins is though he's gone now, there are still going to be people who are going to arise
and still question their own theories.
There's nothing that has been like in one of DS's books, he shared about the first president of America actually died by what is called bloodletting. Bloodletting is when they do puncture, they believe that diseases are caused by demons. So they are going to let out the bad blood, drain bad blood from a person,
hoping that the disease will come out through the blood.
And that was how the first George Washington himself, the first president of America, that was how he died. You can imagine a whole president like that. So then
that was the best treatment they had that time.
So, but people were able to come out to debate and question all of these practices, question everything. The great Aristotle, the philosopher, used to say that men think with the heart. You can't imagine, because whenever you say dog now, your heart begins to to run fast. That's what he thinks are men. But there were people who came out to question all of this. So virtually everything that we know today in the world that is basis of truth is because somebody dared to stand up and to ask questions and to question these things. So that divergent thinking will be very, very interesting for me. How to think outside the box, how to challenge some of these ancient dogmas, some authorities in the field, and to be able to bet something new.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, my two key areas.
Sister Tony.
Yeah, I will try. They've said everything.
Should we show the? Should we show you the list again, or you have the list?
No, I know. I have. I wrote
Okay.
it. Yeah.
You want to
My-
hold it like that? No, more toward.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first one will be how to ask questions. Because in Africa, we were brought up not to ask questions.
That's true.
When people want to ask me questions, it's like they will first of all apologize. Oh, mommy, yeah,
It's true. You visit, eh? You visit Africa.
yeah, mommy.
So you
please.
relate to them.
Yeah.
That's how they
So I
really
made
behave.
them I made them realize that I'm not different from them. They should be free. They should ask me anything, but still they are still nervous. So they will apologize. Oh, sorry, mommy, please. Emma Binuma.
Will
then
it
they
be
will
possible
start.
for us to challenge or change that?
Yeah, we need to change it.
Because
So I will have to put that confidence in
even
them.
fear, maybe.
Yeah, put it in them, because fear of not wanting to lose you.
Maybe not to offend you.
To offend you, if they offend you, then it will affect the
No help.
relationship.
So they are looking forward towards some help.
Yes, it will affect the relationship. But the questions helped me. If they ask me questions, I'll be able to explain to them. So that's one thing I saw. Number two, then asking question again. How do you ask question that you will not put the person in a place of nervousness? The person will not see it as an attack on him or on her. Because when you ask the leaders questions, later they say, why why would you ask such a question from a big person?
From
like
an
that?
elder.
And an elder in the public. They see it as an
Okay.
insult. So that happens to me a lot.
So now if they are see asking question as an insult, how would they now
Yeah.
see
Because it makes
what I am doing? Challenge. That's now why they are
Yeah,
saying I am
that's right.
insulting.
Yeah, it makes them uncomfortable because most of the questions that
So there is
we
no
ask,
other way they will relate to what I'm doing
yeah, they
other
cannot
than
answer.
insult.
Yeah, because they have no answer to those questions, and you make them look stupid. It's like you are dragging them down.
Is that so?
Yeah, so I was in Nigeria
Okay.
October last year, in May last year, then I went back in October, then I was there January this year. So I managed to put all that together. So number two question is that how to put common sense, teaching them common sense, African common sense. Because like what Mayowa is doing now, they are attacking her.
Yeah.
So most of the time, if you look at my comments, I have to say to them, listen, she's helping you guys.
Are you the person she calls Mama Ibeji or
No,
Ibeji?
that's another one. So I have
That
to
is
explain
another
to
very
them,
big support.
Yeah, that she's helping you. Sometimes they will say, okay, then I will break it down for them. They will say, oh, thank you. Okay, I got it. So they can't really see that you are helping them. That's why they are attacking people. They are trying to free them from slavery, from tax masters. So how do we do this? I know a little bit how to do it, but I really need to know it, yeah, to know more. So they will not attack me because they can grab you.
Okay.
Yeah, there was this
saying
lady.
that you are insulting.
Yeah, insulting them.
And grab and begin to assault.
They can attack you physically.
Physical abuse.
Yeah.
You said there is this lady.
Yeah, this pastor, Sarah Omokwe, I forgot her name now. Yeah, you remember her name. Yeah.
From Abuja.
From Abuja, yeah. There was this program she attended. She was telling them about our own message.
Can you hold it this way?
It's quite different this way, yeah. Our own message is about salvation, about holiness and everything. So what she was saying was very powerful. So she asked the pastor to put her up because she said, so they can't get to me. So that tells me that there are people in the congregation that can run to her and hit her or something.
I
She
don't
said,
understand.
you know, they have two platforms, right? She was on the bottom where people can just get up.
It's like you got what she's saying.
Yeah, it's on tape. I watched it online.
So I explain, what is the situation like?
In Poju Church.
Okay, so what?
So she has to go higher, to go on the higher platform. So by the time they reach her, protocol or whatever, security
Okay,
will
we'll
stop
be able
them.
to stop them.
Yeah,
So she was afraid that they could actually attempt it.
they will do because of what she's saying. Yeah. So if you are like Funke Adejumo, they will hear you. They like to hear all that rubbish. Yeah. But if you are really giving them solid, you are telling them.
They like that Funke Adejumo message.
Yeah, go mama, yes. So they like things like that. So how do you teach them common sense? That you yourself will not come under attack. They will not see you as an enemy. So
It's good that I decided to show you the list though. Because all these topics
very helpful.
all these topics that you people are talking about, I'm not even sure I was going to get to them. But thank God you are mentioning them, especially the divergent. I was not sure I was going to get to them. The ones that are lower, the common sense, I was not sure I was going to get there.
That is very important, dear Jesse. Very, very. We need it in Africa. We need it. Because you
Do you
really
think it
need.
can change in our lifetime?
Yes, we will do.
No, because the way she's describing it, that even when they want to question her, that they have to first of all apologize
Yes.
or say something.
Yeah, they will apologize. And they keep doing that. So don't worry, feel free. But next time, another one will come, the same thing. Another one will come, the same thing. And I'm like,
Just to tell you something.
just to tell you something.
Is that slavery?
That's who they are. They are so under. If you see the way these pastors treat them, I was telling
Okay, they have
Mayowa
made
couldn't
them
believe it. She doesn't understand what I'm saying. You yourself,
They
you have
have
to be there.
put
You have
them
to
down.
see it for yourself to know that a human being can treat another human being like this. So, but when I'm saying all these things,
Maybe during slavery,
think there should be.
you will not hear what you are saying if you don't speak to the microphone. Give her the mic.
Okay. I think the act of apologizing to ask a question does not just mean they are afraid, because sometimes I do that at my work, but it depends on the situation at that moment. If I go to the office, I want to ask you something, and I see that you are concentrated, you are really at work. Sometimes I would just say, sorry to disturb you. Can I do that? You understand?
that's not what you're talking about.
So because I start with sorry, I start with
If you are
apologize.
interrupting someone, you got to say.
But what she's talking
sorry,
is much more.
No,
yeah,
this is
okay.
different. When you are having one-on-one, I'm
Like this.
alone with them. I'm alone with this person. There's no reason for them to first of all apologize to me before they can ask me questions.
You know
So
what they're
because
talking about.
we were grow up not to ask elders questions because it's rude.
At all.
Yes, we don't ask questions.
At all.
Yeah, I was telling Mayowa, let me borrow you one of the discussions I had with Mayowa. Yeah, Baba Adeboye tells one of these,
Pastors.
tell the whole the congregation about millions of people about he traveled somewhere and their tank was showing empty, but God told him not to look at it, not to look at the gauge. They should continue driving.
Not to look at the gauge.
Yeah.
Okay.
They should continue driving, and by not looking, if he said to him, he follows Holy Spirit, and he wasn't looking, and they were able to do more miles, for whatever. So to me, there are graduates. Even his daughter lives in America. If my car show me the gauge is red, I can still do up to 100 miles.
Even without prayer.
Yeah, without prayer. That was I should agree with you. But people are there. They cannot even question this man. They know what he was saying was wrong. But they are afraid to dare ask him. But his daughter or his sons can say.
So it's no miracle. It's
It's
just
not
like
miracle.
red doesn't mean it has finished.
Yeah.
It means we are just at the reserve.
Yeah. And that
reserve
was a top
stage.
Mercedes-Benz car that you can even drive because they have big tank and they can reserve like 200. 200. What is it? What was it? So when it shows you red something, they still have reservoir that can still do like 200 miles. And this man kept saying it, and I was disturbed. And I'm like, why can't they correct this man for Christ's sake? This man, you disgracing yourself, disgracing everybody. It's not that people
And his
are not
members and followers think that is an utter miracle.
and it's as miracle. This is rubbish. So this is what this is the example of what I'm saying. They are there, they know, but they can't question it.
Okay, what she's saying when she says that people are afraid of asking the question and saying, please, mommy, please, I want to, sir, it's actually timidity as well.
It is.
It's timidity. It's connected, eh?
Sense.
It's connected.
100% it's connected. Because
If I'm independent, I will not begin to do that. Yeah.
If I'm financially okay, and you are financially okay.
You have to repeat that.
Yeah, if we both financially okay,
I will not be
I don't
saying
need to
I'm
come and
afraid.
begin,
No,
sir,
You will
please,
not do
sir.
that. Yeah, can I say?
Can I tell you?
No. Everybody is bold.
Huh?
Age also, yeah. That is another factor. That is another factor.
In Nigeria, I don't know any other Africa. In Nigeria, there's no age difference. It's money. If you have money, you have
They do
money.
it also for age, but no, for respect for age.
It's just respect.
But what he's now saying is that to remove all those other factors. If it is a poor person, even if it is something that he wants to talk about that doesn't even demand for him to be.
Yeah.
But because the person he's talking to is
It's
senior or richer,
higher than him.
higher, you begin to panic.
Yeah, panic, intimidation. Like, this person, I need this person.
Because if this person will perceive my attitude to be rude towards him, it will not help me. That's why poverty is the one he's talking about. And because most people in Africa are looking forward for some help or the other, they have reduced them to always depending on some help from somebody or from some people. So because of that attitude that I need him to help me, I don't want to offend him as well. That is why he's talking
That's
about.
what I'm emphasizing on.
Psychophancy. It's actually psychophancy.
Okay, that's
Psychophancy, yeah.
So that's the main cause, and that's why I call it hypocrisy.
The one of respect is there for elders, but the one that has made it pervasive, is what he's talking about.
Yeah, that you have
But
to.
what has even made it more pervasive is the fear that pastors have put in people, that these people are men of God. This one, you don't touch my anointed, because before we didn't have that. Don't touch my anointed.
One of the senior pastors in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, not to mention his name, he said he wants to curse me. What right do you have to curse a fellow human being?
Probably because you questioned something.
No, because I fell into fornication with one of the church sisters.
Okay.
And then he said he would curse me.
Even Jesus didn't curse the woman.
Then I said, okay, fair enough. I've fallen into fornication.
I made a mistake, I committed sin.
But who are you? He was shocked when I said, who are you to say you would curse me? But he was shocked that who am I to tell him that who he felt like he should slap him.
Physically.
Yeah.
No,
because I was in his office and he was like, this guy's got guts. He's got the I said, sir, I heard you wanted to curse me. Why? What have I done? Have I sinned against you? I said, I've sinned against God.
And myself.
Then he said, no. He said, you've sinned against God. He said, you've sinned against your body. Or later when I went into the scripture, I went, this man is talking true though.
Yeah, against yourself.
Yeah, he said, you've sinned against your body.
Yes, which is true.
Which is true. Mm-hmm. And then he said, the last one, he said, and you've sinned against the church.
Okay.
And I looked into it.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's a reason.
Later. Because me, I'm very reasonable. If you tell me the truth, even though it's bitter, because I'm a very reasonable, and I love the truth, I still embrace it. Yeah. But later I went to go and look into it. When I was reading the scripture, what he was saying was, but the point now is that you don't have no audacity to say that you will curse me. That's the point.
But God is first of all, that is sin has become something, a manipulative instrument in church. Okay, even though somebody has sinned against the church, and he has sinned against whoever, but Jesus showed us the example of the same scenario when the same sin, fornication or adultery, the lady that was causing adultery, we didn't care who he sinned against God, against church, against the city, against what.
Okay.
He just said, who wants to condemn? You don't even have the right to condemn. Talk less of stoning. No, talk less of, his own is even worse than stoning because he wants to curse you. Talk less of cursing. That is absolutely not Christ-like attitude. Yeah, so anyway, what is the thing we are talking about? What I wanted you to support that idea. I wanted to do, the thing we spoke about.
Okay.
People, but that is less in Igbo land though, in the East. But because of the churches now, everybody is now doing it. That subservience. That
is less amongst the Igbos. But what Sister Twin was trying to explain.
Among the Igbos or in the East? Or in the Igbo land itself?
Well, I would say it's an African problem that questioning is not approved. You don't question an elder.
In the Igbo land too?
Yes.
In Igbo land also?
You don't.
You don't?
You don't. The word of an elder is like law, is law.
It's like
you just have to do
like
it.
that.
No, but I know that from my own experience, that Igbos are more bold and forthcoming in questioning and in relation, in not panicking and shaking like the Yoruba bending down and all that. Subservience is less among the Igbos from what I've seen.
Yes, that's the Igbo man who has made money.
Okay.
But that comes from arrogance. That was why I didn't really agree with him.
That comes from arrogance, yes.
It
And
comes from a position of
a lot of those arrogances there, yeah.
It comes from a position of arrogance.
But among normal people, they have that?
Yes.
I see.
Once an elder has spoken, it's final.
Well,
It's final. Even I see it in my family, my parents, my mom, in her family, their elder brother. If he says something, nobody is going to go against it, even if he's wrong. Yes. So, yes. Nobody is going to go against. What I mean by even if he's wrong, his opinion, today we are discussing, questioning, people can have divergent views on it and an issue. Even if, there are other views to that, they are going to say, he has said this. We just have to find a way to do it.
So it is everywhere.
Yes,
like
we just have to do it.
It's all over Nigeria.
Predominantly amongst.
In my dad's culture, if you disobey elder, they will fine you. They will fine you. Goat.
Fine?
Yeah. You have to. Yeah. They will fine you. You have to give a goat. They will give you a list of things. Am I right? It happens in your culture.
Penalize you?
Yeah.
What culture is that?
Urobo.
Okay. Delta. Delta.
Yeah. You don't do it. You don't question elders.
So it's even stronger than the Yoruba then.
Yeah.
No, we need to keep on going. What are your topics, Mrs. Disso?
Yes.
You have this but your own is more Africano than my own.
It's my hair.
What do you call it? Africa? What do you call it? You used to Africana or what do you used to call us? No, you Afro.
Afro.
They used to call it Afro, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you want to return to 18-year-old?
Well, you encouraged me, actually.
I thought you were a partner with Julie.
Oh, no, you encouraged me because I've been wanting to do it. Although, you know, Maya did cut her hair and everything. But can I mention this? Because the last time I was here in August, and you passed a comment about my hair because I had this big hair.
Big, huge hair. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah. And everybody went silent. And I was saying, no, I can take it because, you know, I like people to tell me the truth. And it's something that I've been thinking about doing because really, I never liked hair extensions. You know, I prefer to just be my natural self.
That was natural at that time.
No, well, my hair was plaited underneath because I had extensions.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't as long as that. My hair wasn't as big as that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Beautiful. This makes you to look very young and challenging and like you are, but it makes you look corporate also. Some
All right,
corporate people
that's
like
good.
to look like that these days. Yeah, people from the corporate, huh? Is it not? Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, go ahead. So tell us your topic
Yes.
or you want us to show you the topics?
No,
now?
I think I've got two that
Okay.
I'm really excited about.
Can you show the topics again?
The art of asking questions. And I want to come from the point of view of relating this to the church and the African tradition.
The way, you know what, I'm feeling right now that a lot of people are going to regret. Nanda Budut, she say what I say. Suda Pereneste, Suda Zadi, Pata Manasho, she say.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are going to regret that they will not come to, they didn't come to this HMTO. Because the things that we are going to be discussing, they are going to be revolutionary and mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Please go and share the message, everybody. If you are watching from home, share. Let's go and share. Even if you cannot make it to be here in Ukraine, go and share what is coming, what you are saying right now.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So I will first start with the African culture and tradition. The art of asking questions in relation to the African culture and tradition. You know, I'm the last born of my mom. She had 8 children. And as, as the youngest in the family, and even generally as a whole in the Yoruba culture, you are not, even if the person is 2 years older than you, whatever they say is taken as final.
Oh, yeah. Even they tell you your own brother or sister who is just 1 year older than you. Yeah. They even do that to that extent. I don't know if it is in other cultures, but in Yoruba culture,
I'm a very curious person and I'm very creative. So I see things even beyond what it is in the present. And for me to ask questions, they just shut you down. And this would help a lot of these families in Africa because it's the same almost in every kind of, whether
culture.
Culture, whether you're Igbo,
or Robo.
Yeah, Robo or Hausa or whatever. So I grew up, so this would be an eye-opener and hopefully will start to bring about changes. I also believe one thing with regards to a younger generation that I think that Africa in general need to embrace. I believe personally that a younger generation, they hold a better solution to whatever problem there is in the world. You know?
But the problem with that is the younger generation, when it comes to the younger generation of African descent, especially those who are growing up both in Africa and here, you know, it creates controversy and conflict in them.
Right.
Because on one hand, they want to respect their parents.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
they want to follow the faith of their parents. But on the other hand, they are forced to work out. And because they cannot compromise in most of the cases,
Yes.
they are forced to just walk out.
Walk out, yeah.
Maybe on their parents, maybe it's on God,
That's
on
right.
the church.
Yeah.
Most of the time, so that's what I'm saying now. That instead of them to become solution in partnership with
Yeah.
their general and help the older generation come out of the something, they want to run away. And they are not going to help the community. We are just going to lose our children.
That's right.
And the next generation
Yeah.
majorly.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
of this. Yeah.
Because when they start to voice solutions to situations that they can see, it's just like Mayowa is now having to
Yeah.
now speak out at the things that are
And
wrong.
the way she is now speaking, it will look offensive to them.
Yes, of
so
course.
she cannot understand them. They cannot understand her. So
That's
which
right.
means two generations of people.
That's right, yeah. And I think the syncretism of the culture and the traditions that we have into the church is what is making the church see even what we do now as something wrong. So you're the devil himself or you're Antichrist or whatever, because you are questioning all of these traditions that they've brought into the church. Now if I now move on to the church, I experienced 3 churches in the United Kingdom.
Okay.
I've been in 3 churches. And the last one is the African church, the Winners Chapel. Okay, so, and it's the same with the Redeemed Church or any other African church. Yeah, because they say that whatever, we got there on the first day and they call you out. Okay, so they got to pray, to pray for you as a first-time visitor. And they tell you there that you stay here for 3 months, okay, and do what we tell you to do, which means that you follow every instruction, everything they tell you to do, that's what you do. And if you don't do it, you will not see the result that you ought to see, okay? So in that 3 months, there's silence in you. And if you do something consistently for about 3 weeks or whatever.
I don't understand. How could they tell you to stay in the church for 3 months and don't question anything?
Yeah, and you just follow the instruction that we give you.
Oh.
And if nothing happens, if there's no change in your life, then you can go. Then we would have people who would come to give testimonies just a day before that, 3 months or something that God is. So all of that is in the church. And also, what I'd
So
experienced.
they have worked out a system
Yeah.
of brainwashing, of
Yeah,
deception.
that's right. Yeah.
So they have perfected it.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, even God in Genesis said that, let's come together, let's reason together. Let's come. He was inviting everyone and let's reason together. But that doesn't happen in the African churches, you see. Because what they tell you is that you do exactly what the prophet or the pastor or the reverend is telling you. And that's what will yield result. And that's what will make, because when you question them or you go against what you see, you're going against God, you see. So I'm excited about the art,
Yes. The art of this whole topic
the
of
whole
this
thing.
Asian
Yeah, and the importance of asking questions, because I think maybe they would, it's not a maybe, they would be able to begin to see the importance. And it's not that you're questioning their authority, because I think it's also, I see it as autocracy as well.
You have more liberty to talk this time. What is the change? What happened?
Well, it's been a while. I've not been to the church. And what
So
you
the
are
fear
saying-
of the church is
Yeah.
gone?
And also, yeah.
It's gone. So she's free to talk? Because she stopped going.
Because
So she can express herself now.
I see a lot of things that are wrong with the doctrines of the church, and especially even the series that we just completed with the 48 laws of power. It's what they have been using to run the church. You see.
Wow.
So because what it is for me is that I love people, and God had created human beings. and want them to prosper. But you are supposed to be representing God, to be an ambassador for God. But then you are deceiving the people of God. You see, so that I cannot reconcile. So if you are doing something indirectly, I mean, trying to convince the people that you're helping them, but really it's for your own gain. That bothers me a lot, sir.
Yeah. Beautiful, well said, very well articulated.
Yeah.
So you look forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm enjoying your newly found freedom too.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
so much.
Thank
Thank you. Maiwa is the last one. What we want to see the list again?
Yes, please.
Please, let's see the list for Maiwa to tell us our own. Why are you wearing all this? You are not you are not doing program now. You have to wear this your thing by force. Okay. Cardigan in summer. Okay, let's go ahead.
My first one is intellectual integrity. And the reason
It's like you are the only one
yeah,
that has mentioned that.
yes. The reason I really need that, I need that in my life because I need to.
No, you are the second person. You are the first one.
I need to have this, especially with the program that I do. I need to be true to the things that I say because that's the first thing that most people challenge me about and challenge about that. You're saying this, what about you and this? And also believe what I'm saying and act it. So not say one thing.
That is exactly so. That means this topic will help you.
Yeah. So not say one thing and then do another. And even generally in my life, I think that in life generally, if you look at the opposite side where you're influenced by people when they do bad things or when you're in an environment that is not, whichever environment you are in, you're influenced by that environment. If I have intellectual integrity, I would also be an influence. So my intellectual integrity would influence other people that I am in their environment or they are in my environment. So that is key for me to actually get to the next one, which is, can I have the list again? The one about teaching Africa common sense. You know, I think to teach them.
That's number 11.
Yes, I think teaching Africa common sense is going to be challenging to do that. And and one of the ways to do that is
you know that because you meet them all every day on your program.
Yes, it's going to be really challenging because they're not.
Are you going to be doing your program, by the way, every day?
Not during HMT.
And
I want to
after
concentrate.
HMT,
Yeah,
okay.
I want to focus and learn
On
because
the
this I
HMT.
need more than anything. So this treating African common sense, which links to the intellectual integrity. You know, if I have that intellectual integrity, they in my environment, they see what happens. And then I can teach to intellectual integrity of myself, my life, my behavior, my everything. And then teaching them, learning something else or how to teach common sense to Africa because I don't know how that is going to happen. The other one that I think that it's really important for me is...
But you are already helping teach Africa common sense by what you are doing.
Thank you.
And I think maybe that's one of the reasons you also wanted that topic because it will enhance your skills in bringing that to Africa, to Africans.
And then the third one is the intellectual curiosity. And I think this is really important. It's important especially for the Nigerian Transformation Project.
Okay,
and
no one has spoken about intellectual curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Has anyone spoken today? No, okay.
Yes, because we don't, I mean, we see everything that happens in the whole world. And we know the dances of America, the way they dance in America.
Okay, should I then change the position? Since many of you are talking about common sense, and you are talking about, you know, I have to ask questions already top. I'm thinking of bringing, the divergent thinking and common sense. Maybe I should bring those to the top somehow, or I should leave it the way they are.
Does it mean you bring it to the top, you will not do the whole thing?
That could mean the thing. It could mean so.
I can give you my slot so that you can do more.
Okay.
So
No, I think we have, in case of anything, we have reserved time. if anything, we'll just come back after their soccer, that's all. Yeah.
Yes. So just to finish the intellectual curiosity, that's all really important because, you know, I wonder why Africans, they see everything that is out there in the world, even the ones that travel to the West, to America, and they don't use that, the things that
Because there
see,
is no intellectual
the
curiosity. And it has not, intellectual curiosity has not become a culture.
Yes.
And one of the things, I don't know if Anu is going to be here or not.
Yes, yes.
Anu is particular about changing the value system of our people. So, but all these things have to become a value system. They have, each one of them have to become a lifestyle thing. So how to make these things become our lifestyle and the value system of our people. If we could succeed, maybe God will give the burden to somebody else who is watching, or maybe God will give you people who are here the burden. So somebody can just have the calling, like Mayowa now, teaching Africans common sense. That could become a whole lifetime goal.
That's a great program.
And working, and working to make sure that Africans imbibe this as a culture. If we could make it become a culture, or even the art of questioning, a culture, or even intellectual curiosity, a culture, that is what we need to set our continent free.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, and I have a fourth one.
Yes.
And questioning through the scientific methods.
No one has spoken about that too.
Yes,
Huh.
I want to know a little bit more about that because that might actually be a key to the teaching the common sense. If I know some of the scientific methods in teaching this, I think there's 6 or more, I don't know.
Of scientific methods, yes.
So if I can learn that and understand this, I think I'll be good for another year.
Yeah, but the thing with scientific method is that once you have it, then it will make sense to you why, because right now what we have in Nigeria, the culture that we have in Nigeria right now is the culture of emotions and emotions and what do we call that, temperament. Oh? No, I'm even talking about whenever anything. Okay, right now they have killed. Yeah, right now they just killed in Jos area, in Plateau State. They just killed some people right now. So what is going on? Everybody is talking. These people are bad. The president is bad. The country is bad. These people. That is what we call sentiment. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Did I say temperament? Sentiment. So the culture, yes, people, which is what has just happened. But what is the reaction? The normal reaction of a Nigerian is sentimental and emotional. Yeah. So what is wrong with that kind of reaction? No scientific approach. Our country doesn't even know how to respond more scientifically. And when some people are writing me today, why are you quiet? Why are you silent? This has happened. This is the truth. It has happened. So what, for them, it just matters that I talk. What will I talk? It doesn't matter. Just, he has also talking, he's attacking, he's criticizing. Which is the approach, exactly what I want to change. You don't just talk. Talk constructive. Talk and act scientifically in a predictable manner, in a way that will give a lasting effect, solution, something. Not just respond. I don't know if if I do this to you, your hand will shake like this. If I blink, you do something to your eye, you will blink. That is reflex. That's exactly what our country has been, instincts and reflex. That is our mode of operandi right now. That is that is the culture of our country. Reflex and emotions. Reflex and emotions. But that is why this scientific method is necessary. First of all, you are looking for empirical evidences. And you want to base your speech on empirical evidences, on proved facts, and on predictable results. But our people don't even know there is anything like that. They just know you have to respond and cry and shout and scream and get everybody angry. And what does that lead to? It leads to hatred, it leads to anger, it leads to you want to hurt another person, it leads to hatred. They are making you and engineering you to function and in the asking the question of who is to blame, who, rather than what to do. That is why I brought this topic in, the scientific method in thinking and in behavior. We don't have it. And even the ones who read science, they don't even have an idea of what we are talking about. See my tragedy, that I come from this continent where nothing is done. But even though it's a tragedy, but it's also an opportunity, because maybe God wants to make us, give us the challenge to be the ones to fix it. But that's why we are dark continent, not because we have dark skin. And even the one of us that are living in Europe, because Europe, they don't teach these things to you, because you just came, you think everything is okay, functioning well, and you are just okay. But what made it to become like that, we have not been taught. You don't know it. And because you don't know it, somebody has to go to the root of what makes the whole world to even function and be able to teach. That's why this HMT is so important. And thank you for mentioning that topic, because I would have left it out, because I thought, since none of you mentioned it,